And good morning, Victor from Oklahoma. You've arrived on the Isle of Man and we're at the Regency Hotel. What's going on?
Well, of course, my big thing is I live out in Oklahoma, way up in the middle of the country. One of the best things I've ever done, by the way. Wonderful people. But I also come back to my roots here in the Isle of Man, and a lot of the family live here. And I want to put it on the market. I want to make sure that people don't miss coming to the Isle of Man, because they get into the United Kingdom and Ireland, and they go off and they do their Scotland bit, they do their Ireland bit, and then they fly over something that is, in my opinion, a jewel.
Well, we've known each other probably about 5 years now, I think, maybe more.
Longer than
maybe
that,
more,
I think,
maybe
yeah,
more.
yeah.
And we're connected with the Regency Hotel, which is on the promenade in Douglas. And what's been happening is that Victor has a travel agency in Oklahoma.
Primetime travel.
Primetime travel.
Yep.
And throughout the year, on a normal year, Victor, you'll send me small groups of tourist families, or we even had a big group. We had over 30-odd farmers, not too long ago.
I'm still talking about it too.
I love that group.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that group.
How long ago was that now? 3 or 4 years ago?
4 years ago. And it was funny because, it was a group of farmers from the university in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Who
Oklahoma State University.
They were students, weren't they? Students of farming. And they were brought with some great sponsors. I think we had a state senator as well came along. And they were shown the inside track of the Isle of Man, and we had a great time. But it's not just that group. I think of all the families and couples and groups that you've sent over, and there's absolutely dozens and dozens. And on a personal front, I'm grateful for that, because I've been able to keep in touch with them, by the power of Facebook and social media. But it's been a great pleasure to show what the Isle of Man is about. I mean, they must tell you when they come back, what an important stage of the tour it was.
Jed, I've got to tell you that as far as they're concerned, that's one of the best things. You made the Isle of Man come alive to them. And that's, unfortunately, there aren't many people out there that can do that. That is an art skill, whatever you like to call it. But you bring out what the Isle of Man's all about. And they come back and say, that's the best thing they've done on the whole trip. And it's interesting. And that's going with Scotland, Northern England, Ireland. And they come back and they say to me, that is the best thing that we did.
Oh, wow.
And Jed was the man that did it and brought it out. And that's why I tell people, if you want to do it, you've got to have this wonderful person that can bring out something that I think is just wonderful. I mean, I can never understand why the American tourists can't cope with coming into the Isle of Man, or they don't know about it, or they do it. Now, I will say a lot of the people have never been to Europe, obviously, and they've got to go to Paris, London, Paris and Rome, and then they start branching into Scotland and Ireland. And it doesn't come into their mindset that there's some jewel in the Irish Sea that can make a couple of nights or whatever it is that we can do for it. And Jed does. Jed, you do that. You look after them for that 24 hours or 48 hours I send them to. And that's what it's all about.
Well, I'll let you into a secret. It's a real treat, because for me, you're meeting people that are lovely, they're new, you've got them sort of captured almost for a few days.
Well, that's true.
And the Isle of Man just allows you to have access here, there and everywhere. And if you know what you're doing, and there's some great tour guides as well on the island who do the same, you've just got that opportunity to show them something a little bit different, because they're getting tourism on the coalface, if you like. So it's been a lot of fun. So I'm thinking you're one travel agent in Oklahoma, and as far as I know, we don't get many other groups of visiting tourists in this kind of format, in this structure, coming to the island. What's the secret? How can we kind of how can we reach out to every main street in the USA?
Obviously it's a very expensive exercise for the travel agencies to bring them in. And then you've got people, how should I say, that are in the business and all they're interested in is doing travelling, and they're not actually getting any clients. I've been one of these very hands-on people. I like to explain every bit of it. We make an adventure of what you're going to do, and we make it to a situation where when you get off the plane at Ronaldsway Airport or you come on the ferry, depending on what you'd like to do, Jed takes over. And you make it so much easier to do that because, believe it, once you get past 65, travelling starts to become a pleasure for people, but it can also be a horrible experience for them, especially people who cut the corners because they're looking at the price rather than what they get for it. And to do it properly here, and the Isle of Man is very reasonable compared to what people are charging in other parts of the United Kingdom, and it's like a horror story when you're talking about Italy and places like that now, and London, where a decent room is $500 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrifying for most.
And I almost think we need to send that message out that you can come to the Isle of Man and you're going to see something completely different. So we've got our steam railway, our electric railway. We'll have our full running horse tram in due course. We've got the TT history, we've got the castles, and we've got the areas of scenic beauty, and we've got our food and what have you. It's a kind of recipe that works well.
Well, yes, I still think not running the horse cars all the way to the sea terminal is going to affect the Manx electric railway eventually, and that is a mistake.
I think common sense will prevail. There's no point doing something half-baked. We know that. But really, I'll just put it on record, Victor, it's been an absolute pleasure looking after your people from Oklahoma, and they are lovely people. You deal with people from all around the USA, but I can put hand on heart say the Oklahomans are absolutely beautiful individuals.
Yeah, those people in the middle, there's a lot of Americans that are very nice. It's an experience, as it is to come to the Isle of Man. It's an experience to live in Oklahoma and places like that. Kansas, and the Texans. They'd do anything for you. It's amazing when you get yourself into trouble, especially when you get older, and you need some help. There's all sorts of people turn up. They're so talented on doing things. It's unbelievable. And this is where they come here to experience that here. And you bring it out, Jed, you see.
Thank you.
And people have got to work at it. It's not, if it comes 5 o'clock and you want to go home, you've got to stay with an American, especially to make sure that they enjoy what they're doing, because they come from an experience.
Well, you've got to fill in the gaps sometime, and it's been a real pleasure. And I think we've got a pleasure coming our way. We've got a full cooked breakfast here at the Regency Hotel. So we'll just sign off. It's been lovely to have a chat. Thank you.
Super.